All right, we're doing watch first. Is that what's happening?
I think let's do watch.
All right, we'll save the 7 and 7 Pro for after this. So Pixel Watch is a thing. We were waiting for it for a while. I think the number one question I get from people outside of the tech world about a Google Watch is like, are they going to make an Apple Watch, but for Android phones, basically? I wouldn't describe it that way. I would describe it like a Fitbit turned into a watch. Now, it still does a lot of both things. It does most of the Apple Watch stuff, right? It gives you your notifications, will let you use Google Assistant, reply to messages, voice text, all this normal smartwatch stuff. And then all of the fitness parts are Fitbit. They're all actually in the Fitbit app, actually. It talks to the Fitbit app on the phone. So heart rate tracking, fitness data, wellness, all these sorts of things, your sleep tracking and a sleep score when you wake up in the morning, all of that is happening through Fitbit. So the way it's described is like, who would want to buy this thing? It's a Fitbit user who wants a little bit more of a smartwatch for like the phone notifications, or someone who is considering getting a smartwatch, but really wants Fitbit stuff in it. So it's a really small, lightweight,
super
one
light.
size, 24-hour battery life. That's the worrying part. They said up to 24-hour battery life.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
We'll see how that goes. It's a very small watch. Like I wouldn't expect a good battery life out of it. I put it on my wrist next to the Ultra. Dwarfs it.
Yeah.
Dwarfs it. But that's the Google Pixel Watch.
You had a tweet earlier that I really liked. I think you said that they should have just renamed it Google Fitbit. And then like I don't like that I have to do a new app on my Pixel because I would rather just use Google Fit. Like they should just change the Google Fit app into the Fitbit app. It's going to connect all together anyways. I don't think it's bad that they're using Fitbit. It's clearly they have years and years of practice with this. They've been doing all the tracking and stuff. I think it's great that Fitbit users can come to the Pixel Watch and have all their everything they're used to, have all their information, and it's like a tried and true tracker already.
Yes.
I do like that. I do think there's some people who just don't have a smartwatch that might be excited to get this, knowing that Fitbit's been around for a while.
Yeah.
But the double app, it would make more sense if the Google Fit app was just now the same.
Yeah, I talked to like all of the product managers at the event, and I talked to the Pixel Watch one too. And I said, okay, do you need the Fitbit app and the Google Fit app? And he's like, well, we're really recommending that people use the Fitbit app for this, and that's really what this is designed for. I'm like,
so strange.
Google
That's
Fit
weird.
is just sort of thrown to the sideline. He's like, well, you could use that, if you wanted to use that. And I was just thinking like, okay. And I think there were reports a couple of weeks ago that Google is going to force you to switch over to a Google account instead of a Fitbit account. Like you're going to move your Fitbit account over to being a Google account.
Okay.
But you still use the Fitbit app, and I don't know. They need to truncate it. Like, if they just called it Google Fitbit, that's all they have to do because it's a recognizable Fitbit name. They just call it Google Fitbit, and they either use all the data and features from the Fitbit app and then make it in the Google style like Google Fit, or they just use the Fitbit app and then just call it Google Fitbit and get rid of Google Fit.
If it's confusing to me, it's going to be confusing to lots of first-time smartwatch users.
Yeah, they said in the setup, it will prompt you to download Fitbit, but it does not prompt you to download Google Fit.
I bet there's going to be people who buy it are like, this isn't a Fitbit. Why is it telling me to download?
It basically
Fitbit?
is, though.
Yeah, but I think there are people who are going to be just like, it's a Google Watch or it's the Pixel Watch. Why is it telling me?
Why I didn't buy a Fitbit
and not notice that there's like a connection there that Google owns it.
Yeah.
The watch though,
confusing.
it's small, but it's also way thinner than it looks like. In the renders, it's
I can't wait
quite
to
thin.
see that.
It's not like super flat, but it's pretty thin. But that also worries me about the battery life, right?
Yeah. It's elegant. It's really nice looking. I like it. There's some bands.
Can I hear your thoughts on like? I'll say one thing that I thought looked really cool. I kind of think it has the same issue as what I thought the Pixel 6 did last year. Is all the video I'm seeing of it looks like a render, and I'm having a hard time imagining it in real life.
Yeah.
The coolest thing about it, I thought, was how the band attaches. Okay. I think that's actually really cool. I don't know if it sounds like you guys had some issues with it based on that, but the way they showed it seemed really neat.
Okay.
We might get
Apple,
used to it.
this is one of those things where I think we will, but so this is actually a pretty underrated thing. Like Apple's had the same way of attaching bands since the first watch, which doesn't sound like a huge deal, but that's because if you change the way it attaches, it's like changing a port. Like all of the previous bands that every accessory maker anyone ever bought doesn't work anymore. So it's really important to get the way the watch band connects to the watch right the first time, so that's how you just keep it for as long as possible.
Yeah.
So they demoed this like elegant new way of like clicking out and rotating it to the side. I tried it, and granted I was trying it on camera, but I tried it many times, and it is not easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have big fingers, maybe, I don't know, but it's kind of like this awkward, like push down and then rotate over the part that you just pushed. So I got it to work, but I don't know. I changed Apple Watch bands on the regular, just like real quick.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just because I got used to it real quick, or if it's because this is a better way of doing it.
It's probably definitely a muscle memory thing, because I don't change my Apple Watch band very often at all. And when I do, it's like I kind of have to dig my finger in and kind of press it, and then it slides off really fast.
So maybe it's just I'll have to do it more often.
Yeah.
I change my watch band every day because I sleep in one band and I wear a different band every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is like a normal rubber band, but I have like a softer like
Okay.
band or whatever. So once a day, I just
Yeah, to be fair, I was there with the camera being like this, and Marques was like trying to keep it in focus, like because we had this narrow field of focus, so he was like trying to do it sort of at a weird angle. So
Yeah.
we'll see over the next week or so how that.
You guys saying that made me think now, though, that like third-party watch bands for this are going to be a pain in the neck. Even if it works perfectly, thinking about how that works, that's far harder than like this small little just diameter that has to slide in, or like Samsung Garmin are generally pretty easy because it's just a pin that you press in and slide in there.
The advantage to this is there are no visible lugs. So you have these really elegant, like seamless looking bands that don't appear to connect to the watch. They just they look like they just come out of the watch.
Yeah.
They look really cool.
Yeah,
and I understand why they did it this way. We'll see how long it takes to get used to that.
Yeah, I think the bands look good. The quality of them did not feel nearly as good as the Apple Watch bands, but I feel like it's a Gen 1 thing.
No
I feel
trail loop.
over time. They were really cool looking bands, like super cool looking bands, but they just felt like tough, and they weren't stretching at all. And
the one that I tried, and this maybe is where we ended, but it was really stretchy, and it was kind of like a trail loop. It didn't have a Velcro part, but it was like a solo loop, and it was like a felt.
It was like a white fabric.
Yeah, white fabric, but it was stretchy.
Yeah,
and it was comfortable. I would sleep
super
in that.
comfortable, but I was just worried that like it was white fabric, and I feel like if you sweat at all in that, it's just going to turn yellow.
The trail loop we have,
I'll sleep in that one. I think
Yeah.
that'll be my sleep tracking band.
Your pillow band.
Exactly.
Really quick question about the bezel on the Pixel Watch, because it's kind of the thing that we all saw was there, but it was hard to see, and then they were really showing it this time, and it looks kind of brutal. Is it as bad in person?
You know how if you were a product designer and you were making a phone with a huge notch, then you would design wallpapers around hiding that
Samsung
notch?
and Apple did that.
That's this watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because the bezel is definitely big, but everything about the UI has a gradient into darkness. So even the flashlight app on the watch, there's a flashlight app. Obviously, it's not that bright. It's like way dimmer than the Apple Watch.
Okay.
But it's bright in the center, and then as you get near the bezels, it like tapers off into just turning the pixels off.
Yeah.
To make it, their whole idea is like, we never want you to be able to see a UI element touching the bezel, because if you can't see it, then the bezel, unless you're in direct sunlight, just kind of looks like part of the screen. It's definitely a thicker bezel, but the way that they design the UI theoretically makes it look not huge. The thing is, it's already a small watch.
They did one example that shows that not working, which was the viewfinder for when you're taking a picture. Oh my God, that was the worst example I've ever seen.
The square, like, again, oh my
They did so much work hiding the bezel and every other thing, and then you got to see it there.
Also, can I just say, when the Moto 360 came out in 2013,
Thin bezel.
Thin bezel. Yes, it had the flat tire,
Yeah.
but whatever, it wasn't that bad. It looked nicer, in my opinion, than this watch. And I remember like one of the first third-party apps that came out was a remote camera shutter, and I remember using that all the time. And it filled the entire thing. It wasn't like, here's the entire image in a square format. It filled the whole screen of
Cropped it.
I don't know. It feels like they forgot everything that happened in the last 9 years. So, I don't know. I feel like we need to use it and then see how it is.
Yeah, for sure.
In a dimly lit environment, the OLED is black and does a good job of fading into the black bezel.
Yeah.
But we shall see.
In most scenarios, yes, but we'll see.
$349 for that watch. Oof. It'll be $399 with cellular. We'll try it. We'll review it. Stay tuned.
All right, guys, last thing before we go, can we just do a Clips outro so I can put it at the end of each Clips that we do?
I got to get editing this impressions
It
video.
is 5 p.m.
We have
on
so
Thursday.
much to do.
Wait, but I just need...
We have so
Sorry, man. You've got a
way.
lot of work to do.
We all got things to do, Adam. Every single one of us.
Hey, what's up? This is Marques Brownlee. Make sure to like and subscribe.